Again, am Kathryn. I'm from Influential, which is one of the world's largest influencer marketing agencies. I feel pretty vapid next to some of the people in this room, but it's all right. No. So I guess we'll go around in order of line and just kind of tell us a little bit about your background and maybe anything about your journey to how you got here today. Kensington, we'll start with you.
Okay, cool. Hey, my name is Kensington Tallman. I'm an actress, a mental health advocate, and the brand ambassador for Girl Well. And I'm so excited to be here and very honored to be here today. I have been on a wild journey. During the pandemic, I was about 13 years old, and I was experiencing extreme anxiety and just going through my own mental health challenges. And simultaneously, I was working on Inside Out too. And if you've watched the movie, you know that it talks a lot about anxiety. And that movie just really helped me open up and talk about my anxiety in a healthy way and cultivate a self-care practice in my everyday life. And I realized that so many other teen girls are feeling the same way. I was not the only one struggling with this, and I think so many of us tried to hide it. And so it was really important for me to try and make a difference with that and try to influence other young teens. And so that's how I found Kayli-Joy Cooper. Her brother, Elijah Cooper, is actually on one of my shows that I was working on, That Girl Lele, and he was telling me all about Kayli-Joy and Girl Well. And when I finally got the chance to meet her and I joined one of her packing parties, I immediately knew that it was something I wanted to be a part of. And I was just so inspired by you and your drive and your mission to create these self-care kits for these young women and to empower them.
That's Kensington.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kayli-Joy Cooper. I am the founder and CEO of Girl Well. I'm 20 now, but I started Girl Well when I was 16. Similar to Kensington, I was a teenager during the pandemic. It's so interesting always to hear adults talk about, kids, they had to go from school to online. And I literally did that. I took a math test, and then 2 days later, for a year and a half, I had the rest of my high school online. And so during that time I really learned what self-care was for the first time. And for me, it was a really interesting journey because I've been hearing this word for so long, but I didn't really know what it meant. And when I realized that all girls don't have access to what I had access to or things that I was seeing online about self-care, I realized that I needed to make a difference in my community. So I started off by making 60 self-care kits for girls in Los Angeles, and I realized the need is so great. So in the past 4 years, we've been able to reach tens of thousands of girls around the world, and I've raised $1 million and been able to work with amazing brands like Bombas, Estee Lauder, Dove, NARS, BetterHelp. Everything inside of our kits revolve around mental, emotional, and physical wellness so that when girls receive the kit, they have the opportunity to practice holistic wellness in a way that maybe they would not have had before, and being able to reach girls that are under-sheltered, so girls that may be facing homelessness, girls that may be in foster care, or just in need of a kit has been something that has been very impactful for me, and being able to not only reach Gen Z girls, but empower other Gen Z girls to give back to their community has really been something that I have enjoyed for the past 4 years. And I'm a junior in college, so I'm getting my degree right now as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Cobb. I'm the VP of Impact at Bombas. I've had the pleasure of having this role at Bombas for the past almost 9 years. I may know that Bombas was founded when we learned that socks are the most requested clothing item among people experiencing homelessness, and our brand was founded to be able to donate a pair for every pair purchased. We've just passed a milestone of 150 million clothing items donated in about the past 10 years, which is it's an exciting milestone to have passed for sure, but also really highlights the need across so many folks in the U.S., and that's something that we seek to be able to help address on a daily basis with the help of partners like Girl Well. I had an unlikely path, I think, probably to getting to where I am now. I was in the fashion and production industry for 7 years after college, and then I owned a floral business in the city for 5 years before Bombas. And so I didn't have a nonprofit background or experience exactly in the work that I ended up getting hired to do at Bombas, but I like to say that the naivete that I brought to my role at Bombas was something that added a bit to our unique approach in the way that we've structured our mission and in the ways that we work with our nonprofit partners and have a core value of really being able to bring dignity and compassion and thoughtfulness and love to the work that we do. And that's something that I'm very grateful for.
I love that. That's amazing. All right, so we'll get into a couple questions. So from vision and goals, I'd love to hear how you each sort of define a purpose-driven partnership and what are the key elements that make such collaborations successful in creating lasting change?
I think for me, it's about taking two different entities, Girl Well as one, and then one of our partners, and working towards a goal. And a goal where we have the girl that's receiving the kit in mind. So, for example, like you all said, a lot of girls need socks in foster care that are dealing with homelessness. So Bombas was actually one of our first partners, and it was really important to me to meet the necessities of the girls. Also, a lot of the girls that I serve are women of color. And, as you know, when you wash your hair, you need to brush it, you need to comb through it. And so it was very important to me to be intentional about what items go inside of the kit. So we were able to partner with Denman, who makes brushes for curly hair. So the girls that receive the kit are able to brush their hair with a brush that's made for them, because we want them to know that the kit is for them. And so for me, purpose-driven leadership looks like finding that synergy between a brand and Girl Well.
I could add to that. I think you hit it on the head. Absolutely, it's being able to listen to one another in that partnership and know what your partner truly needs and not necessarily what you think they need. And I think that kind of goes back to this idea of naivete and starting this mission with Bombas was that we asked so many questions and didn't assume that we knew how to donate socks at the time when we first started, and how to do that efficiently and how to do it in a way that was truly helpful to our partners and made it easy for them, knowing that their day-to-day is consumed by so many more important things than needing to receive socks from us or being a partner. And so I think the true key is really listening to one another and showing up in ways that may break the mold a little bit. And I think that's what leads to really innovative partnerships.
Amazing. Just to kind of like piggyback off of that, I think a purpose-driven partnership is really just authentically coming together with our own unique differences and backgrounds for the greater good and helping create lasting impact in our communities. And I think some key elements of those is just sharing a vision. While we each have different stories and each have different backgrounds, we all share the same goal and the same purpose, and we can use those differences in our different areas of expertise to help fulfill that purpose. And I think something else that's just really important is to just keep an open mind and to work from the heart, because when it's from the heart, it just makes all the difference, really.
Love that, from the heart. Shifting gears, so we talked a little bit about what kind of led you here, but if you were to say there would be a couple things that were your inspiration that really charged you to really focus on creating meaningful impact through your respective roles in your organizations, what would that be?
Yeah, I think for me, it was really just what I went through during the pandemic. I mean, that was such a hard time for everybody, but especially for young people. I mean, we were isolated from our peers. We could not socialize. We were doing school virtually, and I think that was just such a challenging time, and I felt so isolated. And I felt like I was kind of the only one experiencing this, and I was just in a really dark place, and I didn't really know what to do with myself. And I feel so grateful that I got to be a part of Inside Out too, because I think that movie opened my eyes, and I think opened the eyes of so many other people, not just young people, but people of all ages, to know that this is something that we all go through. It's something we try to suppress and try to hide and not talk about, but it's something we all go through as humans. And it's important to talk about those things. And once I started, practicing self-care, I was able to cultivate a daily rhythm of mindfulness. And that self-care just helped me create a healthier lifestyle. And I knew that so many other young women especially needed to hear this message, because young women have it really tough. It's not easy to be a teen girl. I know what it's like. I'm in it. And it's not easy, guys. And I think also something particularly as women that we do is we doubt ourselves, and we don't believe in ourselves. And I know we saw a stat today that said only 4% of women think that they're beautiful. And I think girls need to know that they are loved and that they are beautiful and that they matter in this world. And I think that's really the inspiration for me. And just seeing Kayli-Joy's work at such a young age, 16, starting an incredible nonprofit. I was just so inspired and just wanted to be a part of that in any way that I could. And so, yeah, that was really the inspiration for being the ambassador for Girl Well.
I think for me, I have always grown up giving back to my community, and it's been something that my parents have instilled in me from a very, very young age. So I knew that I wanted to give back in some way, particularly when I was able to identify the issue of inequity in self-care when I was 16. But I started off with this really big idea, and I was like, okay, I want to solve homelessness, the problem of homelessness. However, good thought, and we have to find a niche. You have to find where you can specifically help, because it takes all the grassroots organizations that are out in the world that we've heard about today to begin to solve some of those larger problems. So I said, who can I help specifically? And I thought about under-sheltered teenage girls, because I was 16 at the time. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. I understand the societal expectations of a 16-year-old girl. And while I may not understand their living situations, I can sympathize with them and meet them as a peer at a peer-to-peer level. And I think that that's what makes Girl Well so authentic and such a beautiful community, because it started off as a nonprofit, and now I think of it more as a movement of making self-care accessible for all, and being able to talk to the girls even now as a friend. And I'm just like, this is what worked for me when it came to self-care. What works for you? Like, let's work together. What as a community online can we encourage each other to do to practice self-care? And I was able to kind of hone in on the group that I knew that I wanted to serve.
So beautiful. So inspiring, you two. Incredible. I think the inspiration that I took from starting at Bombas was the idea of being able to bring something thoughtful, something well considered to a population that at worst is forgotten. People wish people without homes don't exist in a lot of cases, which is so horrendous. And at best, maybe get the leftovers or the cast-offs. And what we were so inspired to do, and what I felt very inspired by from the start, was being able to think about what we were providing to individuals in this population with care and dignity, and something that was very considered. And so the socks that we created were designed thoughtfully to be extra comfortable and to be very durable if someone needed to wear them a single pair for longer than one might if they had multiple pairs of socks, for example. And the same thoughtfulness applied to the development of our t-shirts and our underwear. How could we make it easy for someone to choose their size intuitively? How could we make it feel super comfortable? How could it be a stylishly flexible piece of clothing that they could wear in many different ways? And through that, and thinking about how we distribute that product to our network of almost 4,000 giving partners across the U.S., and the way that our team shows up to volunteer on a regular basis here in New York City and bring opportunities whenever we can to do something that's a little bit extra nice, is what's really inspired me throughout my work at Bombas. And the fact that there's buy-in for that at all levels of our company, I think is very, very special, and something that even, almost 10 years in, I don't take for granted. It's a really special thing.
It's awesome. Very inspirational. I'm inspired sitting here, thinking I need to do more. For a couple specific questions, first one I'll send to Kayli-Joy. As the founder of GirlWell, how do you identify partners who align with your mission? And what lessons have you learned in forming these partnerships?
Yes, so like I said earlier, I was 16 when I started GirlWell, and at first I reached out to all of my family friends, my parents' friends in particular, and I was like, please, send me some money. I want to do something for my community, and that was great for the first 60 kids. But again, I was like, the need is there. I have to keep going, and I'm committed to this. So then I was like, I need community partners, and I started to reach out. I cold emailed basically all of my partners, and I was like, hi, like this is what I'm doing, can you support me? And I got so many no's. There were so many people that doubted me because of my age. There were so many people that doubted me because at the time there wasn't something like what I was doing, and so they were confused what a self-care kit was. Even just last year, I had a possible partner who asked me, why do the girls need makeup? And I was like, I'm confused, like what do you mean by that? And the partner was not the partner, but the person that I was having the conversation with was saying, well, they don't need makeup, they need necessity items. And I said, no, the girls that receive the kits deserve everything that you have, deserve everything that you want, and just because of their socioeconomic status, that does not make them any less deserving of self-care or self-love. And since then, I've been able to identify partners that were able to see me, like Bombas, from the very beginning. Bombas socks have been in every single GirlWell kit that I've been able to give. And I actually have a partner that I was just texting with who's going to be doing a packing party in India. And they're going all the way to India next week to girls there. So it really was just about finding people that see you. And I learned that the right people will see you at the right time. And I'm so grateful for partners like Bombas who were able to not only uplift me, uplift my brand, but even uplift myself personally. And I've been able to just be recognized for the work that I'm doing through GirlWell. And in my sophomore year, right before I started school, I was put on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, which made for an exciting what happened over your summer fun fact. But the importance of partnerships at every level can really elevate you and elevate a person in a way that you don't even know.
I love that. They need self-care and they need love. Amazing. For Kelly, Bombas has gained a reputation for its social impact initiatives. Can you share how the company balances business objectives with creating meaningful community impact?
Yeah, I love talking about this. I touched on it a little bit, but I think what's made this so possible is that our mission was part of our foundation from day one. It's truly the reason why the company was founded, and it's something that we have kept at the center of everything that we do, all of the decisions that we make. And I think that's a fairly unique thing, especially after close to 10 years. It could be easy to start to think that maybe our mission evolves a little bit, or maybe we don't invest as much into it, and that's never been true. And I think that's really important to have had the top-down belief in mission from the very beginning, and that's never wavered. Our founders, of course, our exec team, our board, everyone knows that it's the mission that drives our business. And speaking from a more practical perspective, every purchase drives a donation, which is fantastic, and that's one of the driving forces between wanting to get our brand out there and wanting to attract more customers. And of course, I think creating a super great and comfortable product, perhaps a little biased, but we wouldn't be able to do what we do if people didn't love our product first and foremost. And to know that we're able to then satisfy a need when someone's restocking on their basics also helps us, of course, to drive the mission, but then it's cyclical. The mission becomes an important value proposition that differentiates us in a market of other top drawer basics. So through that, I think we're able to find this unique and effective balance that helps us continue to grow and continue to do right by our mission and find more ways that we can invest in it and realize it further for our customers and for the population of folks that we serve.
That's awesome. And I can confirm they are very comfortable, and they make me feel better knowing that they also do good in the world. For Kensington, As an actress and brand ambassador, how do you use your platform to authentically advocate for Girl Well's mission and inspire others to join the cause?
Yeah, so as an actress, I feel really grateful that I've been given this wonderful platform to inspire others and get them involved. And I'm really active on social media. I post a lot about Girl Well and self care and mental health. And by doing that, I've been able to reach my family, my friends, my fans, and really my Gen Z peers. And I feel like those are the people that are really, really wanting to make an impact. And I think that's just so inspiring. And outside of social media, every interview I do or panel, I just, want to work in Girl Well because I want to tell people about it, because what we're doing at Girl Well is so incredible and something that hasn't really been done before. And I think other people need to hear that. And when you tell one person, they tell their friends, and then they tell their friends, and it's a ripple effect. And I did an autograph signing recently, which was really fun, and all the proceeds went to Girl Well to fund my next packing party. We're packing 1,600 bags in honor of my 16th birthday. I'm so excited. And one of the women at the signing who donated decided to host her own party, and she invited all her friends, and they wrote letters of affirmation cards that we were talking about earlier that go into the kits, and then she included a QR code so that her friends could donate. And I think that was such a wonderful example of the ripple effect, and I've just been seeing that so much lately, and I think that's truly the blessing of this. And I just feel so grateful that I get to use my platform for this.
Amazing. I want to come to the next packing party.
Yes, please.
Let me get my friends to do it too.
Anyone that wants to host a packing party can. We have girls all over the world at this point who reach out to me and they want to give back to their communities. They know their community better than I do. So they're able to host the packing parties. I send them some items. They do some fundraising on their side. But we've even had corporate packing parties, and we've been able to allow corporations, particularly on days like International Day of the Girl, to be able to give back to a community in a quick and easy way, but also in one that's meaningful.
I love it. We'll have two last questions, really. But I want to talk a little bit about collaboration and challenges. Can you share an example of a partnership that exceeded your expectations in terms of the impact that it had? And let us know kind of what made it particularly effective.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about this. So in the past month, I had an amazing partnership that just completely exceeded my expectations. And I was doing a panel last month here in the city. And one of the sponsors was EOS, or Evolution of Smooth, if you know them. And I was like, okay, I have to go up to them. I love their brand, and they'd be perfect for Girl Well. So I was like, I have nothing to lose. And so I went up to them, and I introduced myself. I told them who I was, who Girl Well is, what we're doing. And I said, if you'd ever be interested in donating or working with us, we'd absolutely love that. And so I sent them a follow-up email, and less than a week ago, an entire pallet worth of products showed up at my front door. And that was just such a full circle moment to know that anything is possible. And I truly was not expecting that. And to have partners like EOS and Bombas who are willing to make such generous donations, and who believe in the cause, and who see our heart, and who see the mission and the purpose, is just truly so wonderful and so full circle. So full circle. So I'm so grateful for them, and for Bombas, and for every partner that we've had, because every time they just completely exceed our expectations.
I have a recent example that has been really exciting, I think, on my side. Over the years that I've been at Bombas, I've developed a number of friendships with a few folks who have been experiencing homelessness in different ways over the years, and that we support in different ways, whether it's paying for a storage unit or a monthly phone bill or a Netflix account, something to, help take some of the stress off, things that we all really care about, And I realized that I was sort of getting to a point where, and I've learned a lot. I mean, I'm by no means a qualified social worker, but I've learned a lot through volunteering in that space and walking alongside folks through the many challenges and bureaucratic difficulties that they have to face when trying to seek services and find sustainable solutions for themselves, and it's incredibly challenging. And I realized at a certain point that perhaps I was starting to do them a disservice by not being able to help them move toward more steps that they were hoping to achieve. And I had hired a part-time social worker to be able to work one-on-one. What I didn't want to do was to have to kind of give someone a piece of paper with some information and say, go check out this service, good luck kind of thing. I was hoping that we could bring that service in-house sort of in an environment that these folks were used to being in the Bombas office, which is a lovely place to be. And it didn't quite work out, but I was in communication with the CEO of a great organization in the city called City Relief. And he and I had been talking a lot about it, and he said, well, we have caseworkers on site, we have social workers on our team. What if we thought about a collaboration? We also could really use some office space from time to time. Their whole business model or model of care is meeting people through mobile outreach. So almost everything they do is outside, which during these cold months, would be really challenging to sit at a folding table and talk to somebody about the services that you're seeking when you're just not comfortable, and it's tough to engage in that way. So we decided on this collaboration, sharing the skills and resources that we each had to bring them together. So their caseworkers can now come to our office and set up one-on-one meetings and have a hot coffee and get a snack and sit somewhere comfortable. And I can bring dedicated support to the people that I've come to know best that need support in all different ways. So that was a very recent partnership that I feel like went above and beyond and exceeded my expectations, and it's off to a really good start.
I think for me, one of my favorite partnerships has honestly been our volunteers. When I started Girl Well, I was packing all the kits myself in my parents' garage, and it did work, when we were reaching 300 girls. But then, we've been able to reach thousands of girls around the world, and so I needed hands. And to see the outpour of support from girls my age, of people my age, I hosted a packing party at my school my freshman year. And I don't know how, but there were over 100 college-age students at 9 a.m. that showed up, and they were volunteering. I told them that they would get a cupcake, and they were all very excited for the cupcake that they got after they volunteered. But, it's just so empowering to know that we are a part of a generation who can identify problems, chase after them, and solve them. And so to be a part of that it's really been a partnership that I just did not expect, and it continues to flourish.
Love that. All right, last question. I could stay here all day. But for a nice call to action for the audience, what advice would you give to organizations or individuals who want to foster partnerships with purpose in their own lives or communities?
I would say when I came to a lot of my partners, I didn't look like the typical ask. And my call to action to you all would be to look past what you see that's abnormal or what you see that you're not used to. Because Girl Well has grown so much in the past 4 years. In my first year, I reached 365 girls. Second year, 1,000 girls. Third year, 3,000. And this year, we're reaching right under 10,000 because the need is there. There are 2.4 million children alone, 0 to 18, in the United States who are facing homelessness. So be open to partnering with, someone that's new, something that's new, because my partners have been able to fuel life-changing experiences in so many girls' lives.
I think, yes, all of that. I love that, Kayli-Joy. And it's okay to start small. And I think a lot of grassroots movements are the things that really reach people and gain momentum and grow. And starting small and being consistent and really centering your core purpose at the center of everything that you're doing will absolutely help for any efforts to be successful. And it can be really niche. It can be one pair of socks. It's a small thing, but when you do it consistently and with that focus of your core mission and what you're setting out to solve in mind, it can make a tremendous impact.
That's amazing. Both of those are incredible. And I think just to add to that, when you're getting involved, my biggest piece of advice is to be authentic to yourself. And when you're getting involved with a cause or a team, make sure that it aligns with your vision and it's something that you're passionate about. Because if we can lead with passion and especially vulnerability, if we can be vulnerable, we can create more change. And then Something else that I think is really important is to just go for it. Be open and go for it. One of my favorite quotes is from Wayne Gretzky. He says, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." I learned this from Michael Scott from The Office, guys. I have it on my mirror. No, but I'm serious. No, seriously. But it's true. Like, if I didn't put myself out there and just had asked EOS to even consider a partnership, this partnership never would have occurred. And for every question you don't ask, the answer is automatically going to be a no. So ask those questions. Be willing to wonder and just go for it.
I love it. Well, thank you, everyone who participated today.